Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Nothing to See Here podcast. We're back once again. Hi, hello, it's Frankie.
It's Hannah.
And I'm sick.
And this is a peanut gallery.
Oh, wait.
Yeah, one of us is
Amanda.
sick tonight.
You do sound better than you did when you first got on the call, Amanda.
Oh, no, it goes back and forth. I'll sound like a frog for a minute, and then I'll sound normal, and it's rough. But I'm here and somewhat functioning.
And ready to learn, I hope.
Yeah.
That sounded ready. That big yawn there sounded real
Ready for some history.
Always.
I'm excited, Hannah. This is your episode, so take it away.
It is. And before I get to my actual topic, I have a question for you guys.
I feel like you always have a question for us.
Yeah, but this one is very unhinged.
Once again, I feel like most of your questions are.
Yeah.
Okay, fair. What is a pumpkin pie considered? Is it considered a fruit pie? A cream
No.
pie?
A cream pie. It's gotta be a cream pie.
I don't know what it's considered.
Look it up, Franklin.
Well, pumpkin isn't really a vegetable, is it?
Well, it is a fruit. It is a fruit.
It is a fruit.
Squash.
You didn't ask if it was a vegetable pie.
But from a botanist perspective, it is a fruit because it's a product of the seed-bearing structure of flowering plants.
So is it a fruit pie then?
I'm looking it up.
Thank
It's
you.
not creamy.
But it's a custard.
No, but you add milk.
And
then it
eggs.
would
It's a
be-
custard.
It should be a custard.
It is a custard
then.
pie?
I would say it's a custard.
I think it's a fruit pie.
Okay, you're not one of the main hosts.
Fuck, Wikipedia doesn't help. It just says pumpkin pie is a dessert pie. Thanks.
Well, there are
Wasn't
5
aware.
types of pie. There
Yeah,
are
I know.
savory pies, so meat pies. There are custard pies. There are fruit pies. There's meringue, and there's cream.
My dad said it was a cream pie because I asked him for context. My father loves to bake.
That's true, but your father also doesn't own a microwave, so can we really be
That is
trusting him?
true, but he makes a very good pumpkin pie. And he made pumpkin pie for some reason like 2 weeks ago. And the question came to me this morning, what is a pumpkin pie considered? He says it's cream because he adds milk to it. And that's all he knew.
I found bakingbites.com.
What do they have to say?
There's an article there. What are custard pies? And it says custard pies are pies that are filled with a custard base, eggs, some type of liquid, and sweeteners, and baked until the mixture is set. While that
Yeah.
basic custard mixture can make a nice pie filling itself, pumpkin pies and some other pies are all custard-based pies.
Okay, thank you. Bakingbites.com, was it?
Yeah, bakingbites.com. They wrote this in November of 2011.
Well, thank you very much,
It's not a
bakingbites.com.
fruit pie.
It's fruit and it's a fruit pie.
It definitely is a custard.
It's
That
a
is
custard.
your trivia question for tonight. Go
'Cause
tell
you-
your friends and family what a pumpkin pie is considered.
You wouldn't call a key lime pie a fruit pie.
Yeah, but
That's absurd.
I would say
it's
it's a
absurd.
custard pie.
I would too. It is a custard pie.
It is a custard pie.
lame. You guys are all lame. Lame.
Well, we've
I
learned
think-
about pies. What else?
And that
are we
was my
learning about?
episode. Thank you for joining us
Welcome
today,
to
guys.
the shortest episode of Nothing to See Here. It's been fun.
Well, we could get into things that are really upsetting.
We're not gonna
We
hash
have-
this out publicly. We're not.
Not again. We just had a 30-minute conversation on that, Amanda.
Now everybody wants to know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Nothing. We're not talking about it. Hannah, what's your episode about, please? The audience knows what your episode is about before us.
That's
That
not
is
true. She just told us. Well, she said it's about royalty, so
Yes, you cannot see, dear viewer, but in our Zoom call, my name tonight is Cleopatra.
oh, I remember shit now.
We are finally, after many long months of waiting, I am finally bringing you my episode about Cleopatra's tomb and the woman I believe is going to discover said tomb.
You teased this in like the first episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was the first weekly episode I teased that in. I speak words well, I swear.
Yeah.
And you forgot about it.
Hey, to be fair, I don't only forget about your episode. I forget about what episode we just recorded until I go back to editing. I forget everything about this after we record.
That's very true. He does.
It
Yeah,
doesn't help that we also record like 2 months in advance.
and he
That's
also
true.
forgot to take me to go see Wonka.
Oh my god.
Yeah, he didn't take me to go see Wonka.
All right. Maybe Cleopatra will take you to see Wonka.
Cleopatra's fucking dead.
Not my fault.
It's kind of your fault.
I didn't kill Cleopatra, though. It's not my fault.
I don't know. Probably, I mean, she killed herself. Broken heart, maybe.
Where's this tomb at, Hannah? Where's the-
Would you like to know that?
I'd like to hide there right about now.
Well, it's a very, very well hidden.
That's the
Could
point.
be destroyed. We don't know yet. I do hate to disappoint anyone who was looking forward to another spooky episode, because I don't have one of those for you today.
We don't know where the tomb's at, correct?
No, we do not.
That's pretty
We
spooky.
might. We don't know officially. My next episode, I will say, is going to be my second interview for the official title of the spooky one. Today, though, as you know, we're talking about the one and only Cleopatra, the last pharaoh of Egypt, and a fucking icon.
Yeah. She got herself naked in a
She
robe.
got herself naked.
What,
You just
you didn't hear
described
that story?
everyone in the world.
Everyone gets naked, Amanda.
What? You've never heard the story of how she Lord Caesar? She literally was like, wrap me up in a robe. Or sorry, wrap me up in a rug. That's what I meant.
That is a
Butt-ass naked.
legend, but sure.
Shut up.
Sorry.
Who are you telling to shut up?
Hannah.
Nice, Dan.
Amanda says I can't lead my
Yes,
episode.
she-
Sorry, guys.
That's exactly what I said.
I didn't
I
even
mean-
learn about Cleopatra.
No.
I
But
just told you
Amanda's right
something.
in some regard, because Cleopatra has inspired countless movies, plays, people, books, dramas all over the past
And in a
couple
lot of
hundred
them,
centuries,
she's played by a white woman.
which is
Yikes.
wrong.
And you know
We're not
why
gonna
they
get into that
justify
tonight.
it too?
I'm sorry,
You know why they justify it too?
because she was
'Cause she-
Macedonian Greek.
Yes. And that just fucking bothers the fuck out of me.
Yes, Cleopatra was Macedonian Greek, but she was also like 10th generation of Egyptian royalty.
Yeah.
So at that point, she's just Egyptian.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't just get there by not being part of the family.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Literally.
It irritated the fuck out of me.
Tonight,
Dropping that bomb a lot tonight, child.
What, I was gonna say, what are you, my mother?
You figured it out. Nice.
wow.
I must really not be feeling well, guys.
Get that long.
It's only been how many years, Amanda?
I don't know.
20,
Any
27 years.
Thanks, Frankie.
Almost
you're the-
3 decades.
You're the old one on the podcast.
Are you really trying to get me angry with you?
No, I'm just having fun.
So yes. Is our
Hey.
door back here?
Hey, Cleopatra.
Back to Cleopatra again. Today, we are going to be talking about her tomb and the woman I wholeheartedly believe is going to find it. But before we get to present day, we need to talk about Cleopatra's death.
Yeah. Bit on the tit
No.
On the tit?
by an asp. That's the legend.
We'll get to that part, which is wrong, by the way. Spoiler alert.
I said legend that time.
Okay, thank y'all. I need you
There's
guys
no paper
to put your history caps on now.
My history cap's always on. Always
Okay,
ready.
cool. Because we got to speed run some wars and love and death here.
Are we gonna rehash this Mark Antony and Cleopatra shit again? Because I'll leave.
We have to. I got to paint the scene for our viewers, our listeners.
How about we have our viewers? Hey, this is a possible episode. Why don't you pause the episode, go read Hannah and me and Frankie's little spiel about Mark Antony and Cleopatra and Shakespearean, and you get the whole gist.
No, Amanda, shut up and let Hannah do her thing.
Did you forget what Hannah's name was?
You confused me when you make me yell at you.
That makes no sense.
Amanda, go take a nap and we'll wake you when we're in the present day. How about that?
I am in the present day.
We're talking about like the history of Cleopatra, and then we're
Just do it then.
The year is 30 BCE. Cleopatra is allied with Mark Antony of Rome against Rome's two other rulers. Mark Antony was part of the second triumvirate that rose to power after Caesar's assassination, and Cleo and Mark Antony famously fell in love. A very, very long story, incredibly short. Mark Antony wanted to rule Rome on his own. He didn't want to rule with the other two dudes. So you have Cleopatra and Mark Antony allied on one side, and they are fighting Gaius Augustus, aka Octavian, and Marcus Lepidus. So you got Rome v. Egypt. And Octavian and Marcus Lepidus, for those who do not know, were the other members of the second triumvirate. Now, these two, they saw the writing on the wall. They saw that Mark Antony wanted to rule Rome alone, that he was power hungry, and they didn't like that. They also didn't like Cleopatra and wanted to stop the pair.
Because she was a boss-ass woman and men are afraid of them.
Hell yeah. So like I said, you have Rome and Egypt, Rome v. Egypt. And no matter who wins, the world is going to be changed forever. Like I said, this is a speed run of history. I'm not getting into everyone's motivations for this war. It's not what we're talking about today.
Welcome to Crash Course History.
So battles ensue and Rome wins. Octavian and Marcus Lepidus's forces took out Cleopatra.
His name is Moctavian, like mock, like a mocktail.
No, I messed up and put an M in front of Octavian because I'm speed running this.
I like Moctavian. It makes us feel like we're making fun of him.
I really like it too. That's why I was really happy about it. Can we call him Moctavian for the rest of this episode?
We are going to now call these two Moctavian. That's their ship name.
Keep bullying him.
I will.
Hannah.
Yeah.
Like bullying men over the internet.
Especially dead men.
Mm-hmm.
They can't defend themselves.
They can't fight back.
They cannot. So Moctavian, their forces managed to take out Cleo and Mark Antony's forces in a naval battle. Now, both Mark Antony and Cleopatra flee, and I must note, as history goes, that the pair did not flee together. They did not go to the same safe house. They are separated at this point.
Aw, man. He wasn't picking up his socks.
Well, he was also married to another woman the same time he was with Cleo.
He wasn't picking up his socks at both houses.
No, he was not.
Maybe he just didn't wear socks.
Pick up your socks. How hard is that?
They probably didn't wear socks. They wore a lot of sandals back then.
Pick those up too. Put them on the shoe rack.
Think they had a shoe rack?
You know, they built pyramids, Frankie. You think they can't have shoe racks?
They could. I'm just saying, like, they might not be on their list of, like, priorities.
Be on my priority list.
There's a civil war going on.
Your civil war.
So, as the story goes, according to Plutarch, that is, Mark Antony is given fake news that Cleopatra is already dead.
Way to go, dude.
Before I continue on with my story, I do want to insert a quick content and trigger warning. As the story goes, we're going to be talking about suicide for about the next 10 minutes. If that is upsetting or triggering to you, please skip forward. We will include a timestamp in the synopsis of this episode if you would want to skip ahead to that. According to Plutarch, Mark Antony is given fake news that Cleopatra is already dead. This causes him to commit suicide, although I'd argue he knows he's going to be killed if he gets caught by Moctavian, so I'd say he stabs himself out of self-preservation. But either way, he has committed suicide and is no longer alive. Cleopatra, though, is still very much alive. As I said, Mark Antony was given fake news about her death, but she does get word that Mark Antony is no longer alive, and she too takes her own life. Shakespeare will famously tell you that she took an asp to her breast out of love for Mark Antony. I'd say she took poison to avoid being Rome's prisoner and killed at a later date. Once again, doesn't matter because either way, she's dead.
Yeah, I don't think she did it because she loved Mark Antony. The
No.
dude had a wife. I'm
He
not gonna
didn't
kill
love either
myself.
of them, I don't think.
Yeah. I'm not gonna kill myself over a dude who didn't make me his wife and has another wife on the side.
She 110% took her own life to avoid being Rome's prisoner.
Yeah.
At this point, Rome takes control of Egypt, and the rest is history. But what about Cleopatra and Mark Antony? What about their bodies? Legend says they were buried together in Cleopatra's tomb, the lovers together in eternal rest, and their tomb has never been found.
So I have a question for you, Hannah.
Yes,
Where were they when they died?
that is a very good question. They were in the capital city of Alexandria.
So they were in
Hey,
Egypt.
Yes,
Was
they were in Egypt.
was that before everything burnt down?
I believe this would have been after because I feel like
Caesar
it burned
it.
during Caesar.
Yeah, Caesar
Caesar's
burned
time.
it. Didn't
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
It really pisses me off that, my favorite salad is Caesar salad, even though I know it's not named after him. And he goes and burns down a goddamn library. Do you know how much information we lost because of
Please
that
don't
fucker?
remind me.
To be fair, he didn't intentionally burn down the library.
Negligence still could be charged.
Well, he did.
Yeah, he got his punishment.
Not good enough, if you ask me.
Not good enough. He was stabbed over 20 times.
We should
Yeah.
totally just stab Caesar.
Thank you for the Mean Girls reference.
You're very welcome.
No, I for all of the information that was lost, more painful. Slay
And
his skin.
he didn't burn all
Cook
of
him over a barbecue.
He didn't burn all
Just like
of
those books.
He didn't burn the entire library. Only
He
part of
burnt
it.
a lot of it.
Yeah. But he didn't burn all of it. You know who burnt the rest?
Who?
Early Christians.
Way to go, early Christians.
There's a theory that they did it because they thought it had pagan contents that they wanted to get rid of. So there's theories that early Christians burnt it down.
What do you got against pagans? Christians?
They have a lot against pagans.
Yeah,
I know
there's
that.
there's books about it.
Mhm.
I know. As a, witch. Not nice.
So they were dead in Egypt though.
Yes. Yes.
Just separately.
Separate locations, but they're both in Egypt.
Yeah.
Dead.
They're in Egypt.
But I thought she said they were buried together.
After bodies, they find the bodies and then they put them together.
But who was running Egypt? Like they were prisoners, right?
Wasn't
They
it Cleopatra's
were
sister?
wanted.
What did you say, Hannah?
I said they were wanted criminals, I feel.
So they weren't like captured yet?
No. They're in like safe houses.
Oh, okay.
So not like Romanov safe houses.
No. Like actual safe houses.
Like Pablo Escobar safe houses.
Sure. Now, Cleopatra died in 30 BCE. It is now 2024.
It's been a long time.
2,053 years have passed, and her tomb has never been discovered.
They're working on it?
Yeah, they're working on it. But the general consensus is her tomb will never be found. That she is truly lost to time and will forever be a legend. But as she is the stuff of legends, there are going to be people who will continue to search for her final resting place as long as her name exists. One common theory of archaeologists is that Cleopatra is buried in Alexandria. As I said, Alexandria was around where she was during the time of her death, and Alexandria was also Egypt's capital city during her rule. So her being buried here is really not a far-fetched theory. In fact, there was a team of underwater archaeologists from the European Institute for Underwater Archaeology who began a search underwater right off the coast back in the 1990s.
That's interesting. Could you imagine? I want to be an archaeologist, but an underwater archaeologist.
You could never pay me enough to go into the ocean.
The ocean is a frightening place full of nightmares, and I will never
Exactly.
venture into it.
Exactly.
Babies.
There are some, man, People are scared of space. I'm scared of the fucking ocean. The freaks that live down there that we haven't even discovered.
You're
Keep me
afraid
away.
of feet. All right.
I'm not afraid of feet. I just don't like them.
I put my feet on you and you cowered in fear.
They're gross.
My
I'm with
feet are
Frankie on this
gross.
one. Feet are nasty.
No, not your feet specifically. We've gone over this many times. Feet are gross. There's nothing to do with the fact that they're your feet, although there's evidence that your feet in particular can at times be gross. But feet in general, to borrow Hannah's word, nasty.
Why are you saying my feet are gross? I just did a peel mask.
I have stories from in the past. I don't want to air this dirty laundry.
No, Eric, go ahead.
I have stories from the Peanut Gallery. Is the Peanut Gallery still here to confirm my stories?
Yes.
That while driving you home, you took your shoes off and she gagged.
That's very fair. That is fair. You want to know why she gagged? Because she wore my shoes, and
Let's be honest. Both our feet sweat and they stink. Our shoes quite a bit, and those shoes stink so
See?
bad.
Feet are nasty, just inherently.
no, they're not. You're such a baby.
Hannah's on my side in this.
Feet are nasty. And Amanda's feet smell. And they're nasty. I want all our listeners to remember this because on Instagram, when we play trivia of this episode, I'm going to put in a question, whose feet smell and are nasty?
Your feet don't smell. Frankie's feet also don't smell like roses.
Have you sniffed Frankie's feet?
I've smelled Frankie's socks.
Why?
Not on purpose. It's just,
How did we end up here?
Because the ocean is full of freaks that should be healthily respected, and I will stay far away from.
Bet you your feet stink too, Hannah.
My feet do not smell. If they smell like soap because I just took a shower.
You know
Sounds
whose
like
feet?
somebody.
You know whose feet would smell by now?
Cleopatra's.
Cleopatra's feet would smell.
I hate you.
Not anymore. They're just bones.
Yeah.
Well, back to our underwater archaeologists. They searched an area that is known as ancient Alexandria, and notably, this team was not searching for Cleopatra, but during dives, they did find coins bearing her
They
image.
found corn?
They found corn. It has the juice.
They found corn!
No, they found coins bearing Cleopatra's image. In 2009, another team, this time of Greek archaeologists, dove around the site and found a giant granite piece. This piece is 23 feet high and is believed to have been part of the threshold for a monumental door. A door to a tomb, perhaps? These two pieces of evidence lead some to believe that Cleopatra's tomb has been truly lost, having been taken over by the ocean thanks to earthquakes, erosion, and so on.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Mm-hmm. Still, some believe her tomb to remain intact and on land.
Yeah, okay.
If you head 30 miles west of Alexandria, you will find a temple dedicated to the gods Isis and Osiris. This temple is known as Taposiris Magna, and here is where our main story is going to take place. Meet Dr. Kathleen Martinez. She is a Dominican criminal lawyer turned archaeologist.
Oh, good. She got away. Nice. She did it.
Jesus Christ, Frankie!
Living the dream.
Do you want to know a fun fact about her? Frankie, I wrote this fun fact just for you.
Oh, I'm excited.
She earned her law degree at 19.
Yeah, so she did it. She did it and then realized real quick, not for me. Left.
She made her money and then turned to search for Cleopatra. She is
How old is
convinced.
this woman?
How old is she?
Mm-hmm.
She is almost 60. She is, I believe, either 57 or 58 years old.
Good for her.
Dr. Martinez is convinced that Cleopatra's tomb lies under Taposiris Magna, and honestly, so am I. During her studies on this famous woman, Dr. Martinez discovered some striking differences in texts discussing Cleopatra. Namely, any Roman texts were propaganda, and history has done women dirty, and Cleopatra especially is done hella dirty. Those are
Yeah.
my words. Those are my words. Dr. Martinez puts it a lot more eloquently. But realizing these big differences, she focused on historians like Plutarch and Strabo and compared and contrasted these texts that weren't propaganda, and she came to her first hypothesis. Cleopatra was considered to be the representation of Isis, and if Cleopatra had had to search for a place to be buried in her last days, she would have chosen a temple dedicated to the goddess, nearish to where she was when she was running from Rome, and also someplace people might not think to look. So Dr. Martinez sketched out a map of ancient Egypt based on Strabo's descriptions of the country, and she was able to identify 21 locations associated with the legend of Isis and Osiris. And there was one location out of these 21s that she felt, after searching a few of these sites, she came to one temple she thought could hold all the answers. Taposiris Magna. She first visited the site in 2004 and began doing digs in 2005. First things first, as I said, this temple is in dedication to the goddess Isis. In ancient Egypt, the pharaohs were the living incarnations of the gods, and Cleopatra famously styled herself as the new Isis. At the time, a religious sect known as the Cult of Isis was very popular, and Cleopatra made sure that these worshippers viewed her as Isis. She had portraits and statues made depicting her as the goddess, and even appeared at a festival celebrating one of Mark Antony's victories dressed as Isis. Dr. Martinez once said about Cleopatra's death and why she believes this temple to be her final resting place. What brought me to the conclusion that Taposiris Magna was a possible place for Cleopatra's hidden tomb was the idea that her death was a ritual act of deep religious significance, carried out in a very strict, spiritualized ceremony. Cleopatra negotiated with Octavian to allow her to bury Mark Antony in Egypt. She wanted to be buried with him because she wanted to reenact the legend of Isis and Osiris. The true meaning of the cult of Osiris is that it grants immortality. After their deaths, the gods would allow Cleopatra to live with Antony in another form of existence, so they could have eternal life together. Now we have to remember, at the time of her death, Cleopatra was a very famous, very wanted woman. She was also smart and cunning, if legends are to be believed. Dr. Martinez poses the theory that Cleopatra was smart enough to be buried in a location where no one could or would disturb her rest. So instead of being buried at Alexandria's palace or places with other tombs, she chose a sacred site that wouldn't be disturbed. Here, I want to note that a lot of naysayers of this theory toss it aside because the location is a temple, and people, even royals of the time, weren't buried in temples. They were for the gods and the gods alone. But again, her final resting place wouldn't be disturbed if it was at a temple. It's a good theory.
It's also a good theory, I think, because I don't remember when her reign was, but it was definitely at the time when they stopped burying the pharaohs in the Valley of the Kings because they were already getting tomb raiders.
Yes, the Valley of the Kings, Valley of the Queens, no one was being buried there anymore.
And so if she really wanted to find a final resting place where she wouldn't be disturbed, no one, even those who are desperate enough to rob a pharaoh's tomb back then, they're not going to disturb a god's temple.
Oh, absolutely not. They're going to be cursed to be boiled alive in acid or something. They're not touching that. And another thing to note that I did not write in my notes is No Ptolemaic ruler's tomb has ever been discovered.
I'm sorry, you gotta know whose tomb?
Ptolemaic. That was the dynasty Cleopatra was from.
Ah,
The Ptolemaic dynasty. Sorry, I should have specified that a little bit more.
none of them have been found.
The last time I checked, no, because it
Impressive.
goes back to Alexander the Great all the way to Cleopatra, and no tombs have ever been found from this dynasty.
We haven't found Alexander the Great either.
No,
I thought we had.
I think people have like kind of low key given up looking for him.
He was also in Alexandria, so he's also might be at the fucking bottom of the ocean.
That is a very common theory. All the Ptolemaic tombs are destroyed from being underwater.
The capital moved. I always forget that Alexander moved the capital.
Now, another small but important fact is that Taposiris Magna was not in a location under Roman control at the time of Cleopatra's death. She could have her followers bury her in secret, and Rome would be none the wiser because they're not there. Next up, a necropolis was discovered containing many Greco-Roman style mummies. These mummies were buried with their faces turned towards the temple. What this means is it is likely the temple contains or at one point contained the burial of a significant person. Dr. Martinez has also found countless mummies and bodies during these past 20 years she's been searching for Cleopatra. And while most of them are your general run-of-the-mill mummy, she has also found mummies that are gilded, and she's found burials in Greco-Roman burial shafts. So again, notable because you're not in the quote-unquote golden age of Egypt. You're in the Ptolemaic dynasty. You're nearing the end of Egypt as we think of it in ancient history, I guess you could say. And also, when I say gilded, I don't mean the whole mummy is gilded, just parts of it are. So it has been reported that some skulls and tongues were gilded. And again, this points to an important person being buried nearby. Do you want to guess some other things that have been found at the site?
Yeah, the Book of the Dead from the Mummy.
I'm sure, well, not the
Hey.
one from the mummy, but I'm
Ooh.
sure a Book of the Dead has been found.
Do you think if they found the Book of the Dead from the mummy, then they could, like, Cleopatra's mummy maybe got up and just left?
A thought. Why not?
That's why they haven't found her.
Yeah, because she's just walking around.
She's just living her life.
She succeeded because she wasn't like
Mhm.
bragging about it, like
Mhm.
whoever it was, and was this Ramses? Was it Ramses?
Are you talking about Emotep?
Emotep, yeah, there we go. Thanks. I couldn't remember his name.
You don't remember the bad guy from one of the best movies ever made?
Apparently
I-
not.
I remember the movie. I just didn't remember. I remember Brendan Fraser mostly, but not. I remember The Rock.
Yeah,
as
in the
Scorpion
second one.
King. Yeah.
Of course you remember The Rock. That was such a bad
Who
movie.
doesn't remember The Rock in The Mummy? It's really bad CGI. How can you not remember that
Dude, some
weird
of the-
scorpion thing?
It's some of the worst CGI in the history of film.
So outside of the Book of the Dead, what do you guys think has been found here?
Weapons.
Not on my list, but I'm sure a weapon has been found.
Some mummified geese.
Again, not on my list. I have no idea if any mummified animals have been found, though.
A mongoose.
Oh, what are they?
Jeff the mongoose is there.
What are those jars called? The fucking organ jars.
Canopus
Canopus jars?
Yeah.
Again, I'm sure they're there. On my list, I have that coins bearing Cleopatra's image have been found. There has been a statue's head, which is believed to be that of Cleopatra. A bunch of other statues, too, all dating back to the Ptolemaic period. And a mask depicting a man with a cleft chin. Something that Mark Antony famously had.
Other men didn't have cleft chins?
Yeah, other men could have had cleft chins. It's just interesting that part of a mask that featured a cleft chin was found at a site that may lead to Cleopatra and Mark Antony, but mainly Cleopatra.
I have a question here now because I want to support Amanda's thing about cleft chins. and multiple men having them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you're going to address this later on either, but isn't there some ancient evidence, and this might be wrong because the Romans, lie,
They did
but
that a lot.
isn't there some evidence that Mark Antony was cremated?
I didn't look that up, but
The answer is no,
I don't
apparently,
know.
because Hannah didn't do research on this. So,
Well, I did research on Cleopatra, not Mark Antony.
yeah, because who the fuck cares about Mark Antony?
Yeah, but if Mark Antony was cremated, then the mask might mean nothing.
True. I feel like I have heard the theory that he was cremated, but there are so many theories floating around. Who knows? So my answer to you, Frankie, is maybe. I don't know.
All right, that's fair. What if the tomb just doesn't exist?
I mean, another great possibility. It's been over 2,000 years.
She's buried in a pauper's field.
Well, I mean, they wouldn't bury her in a pauper's field.
Nah, she would have had some finery. She would not have been a pauper field kind of girl.
Although the Romans didn't like her, they might have done something to disrespect her.
Exactly, my thought.
Why would they?
Here's the thing, though. If Rome had done something to her body, they would have written that shit down.
Would they have?
Yes, because they would have wanted to brag about it.
That's fair. They love to brag.
Mm-hmm. If they had somehow gotten Cleopatra's body and disrespected it and her burial place, they would have written it down, and then over the centuries, it would have become a grander and grander thing that they did. But they didn't write it down. So I'm going to say no. They did not get her body.
Well, I don't know. Was she nice to all of the people that, like, were her, like, advisors and shit? Because if somebody was mean to me and then they died, pauper's grave.
Well, she had loyalists around her.
Doesn't mean she was nice to them.
I mean, I'm sure she was nice to them in the same way other pharaohs were nice to their advisors.
One dude shot a guy's son for just saying, hey, maybe don't do that.
Well, we have no historical evidence that Cleopatra did that.
Thanks, Hannah.
You're welcome. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. Like, if there's historical evidence that she was a shitty person to those around her, I think we would have that.
I mean, her sister was a shitty person. Didn't she marry her brother, too?
She married both of her brothers, and she had her one sister killed.
Well, that one sister, yeah, that one sister did try and, like, usurp the throne.
Yeah, that's why she had her killed.
Yeah, so that one makes sense. But
and there you go. To answer your question, there's historical evidence of Cleopatra being shitty to her sister. So if there's no historical evidence of her being shitty to her advisors, I'm going to say she wasn't shitty to her advisors.
I don't know if she was shitty to her sister. Her sister was shitty to her first.
I feel like we're running in circles.
Anyway, where were we?
We're looking for this tomb.
We're looking for this tomb, and I feel like I ran a marathon in a circle.
You're welcome.
We're almost at the end of our story, because in 2022, a vast tunnel was discovered under the temple. The structure is 43 feet below the ground and is 4,281 feet long. Currently, its purpose is unknown, and parts are or were submerged in water. One end of this tunnel led Martinez's team into the Mediterranean Sea. Again, we don't know what the purpose of this tunnel is. It could have led to Cleopatra's tomb, which is now unfortunately submerged in the ocean. It could have been a fake tunnel leading to a dead end in order to throw off tomb robbers. It could have been a tunnel used by temple priests. We simply don't know. From what I gather, the tunnels are still being searched, and like I said, we don't know. There could be like false walls or something in there that we have not found yet. but it does end up leading to the ocean. That is the last big find by Dr. Martinez. She and her
Sorry.
team are still actively searching the site each and every year, and dig season in Egypt is typically early September to early December. I had heard of some digs going through April, so there could be news these next few months. To note, we are recording this in February of 2024. I do not know the date that this episode is going up, but note at the time of recording this, there could be new discoveries found.
What if I have an idea for the hunters in case they're listening.
Okay.
Just drain the ocean.
Just drain the ocean.
Shut up.
Just drain the ocean.
Just drain it. How many gallons of water is that, Frankie?
Hold the
many.
water in like a tank. Look for the tomb real fast.
Okay.
And then throw the water back in.
Okay, cool.
I hate you.
I think that's the
Should
best
we hold our
solution.
breath
What
while
about the
going
fish?
underwater too?
What do you mean? They'll get like it'll be a large vacuum that'll suck them out too. It's just the Mediterranean. Who cares? They've had it.
Mediterranean.
The Mediterranean.
How come I can't say bad jokes, but you can say bad jokes?
Mine didn't offend an entire religion. The Mediterranean Sea. That area has had it. That area has had it too good for too long. Nice weather all the time. Great food. Let them like, worry a little bit while we look for Cleopatra's tomb, and then they'll get their water back.
Well, what if I told you there is a way you could talk to Dr. Martinez and tell her about your idea, Frankie?
I would be immediately frightened and never tell her my idea.
I'll tell her your idea.
I'll immediately say it's your idea. It was hers.
Well, for both of you, then you could both spend a cool $21,700 and go on a 6-day trip that will take you to Alexandria and Dr. Martinez's dig site to participate in a live excavation and restoration work.
Yeah, let me just pop that out of my piggy bank real fast.
Okay, cool. Do you got another 30 grand for me?
No, I only have enough for me and Amanda, so we can tell her about the ocean idea.
Okay. Can you smuggle
Good.
me in your suitcase?
Yeah, I'll let you FaceTime in.
Okay, cool. Now that trip is a real thing. Like, I didn't just pull that out of thin air.
Oh, I believe you didn't pull that out of thin air. It sounds like, for that much money, yeah, it sounds like a real thing.
Yeah. From the company Luminary, you can feel like a real archaeologist. You can begin your trip in Cairo, where you will head to Saqqara, which is the largest archaeological site, and you get to see behind the scenes of everything going on. Then you get to head to the Grand Egyptian Museum to preview it before it opens to the public. After that, it's off to Alexandria to discover Cleopatra. And then you will get a tour of the library of Alexandria with an archivist. An archaeologist will also be with you the entire time to answer all your burning questions and, help you with that water theory.
Yeah.
I'm not going.
It's more of an idea, not a theory.
Okay. Well, yeah, your idea. Sorry. Your idea. Your ocean idea.
Yeah, I've done the theoretical work. It'll work.
Okay, cool.
I
can't wait to see it happen.
Get like a giant vacuum to suck up the water.
And the fishies.
And the fishies, yeah.
No, I'm not going.
Why not?
You get to stay in 2 5-star hotels also.
Cool. Rather go to Disney.
Yeah, but Disney doesn't have a dead body of a pharaoh.
No, but according to you, it has Walt's dead body underneath it.
No, incorrect. Just his head. That's only part of a dead body.
Oh, God forbid.
This tomb's got the whole thing. Maybe 2 dead bodies.
Well, it already has shown more than 2 dead bodies. There's been a plethora of mummies found there.
Yeah, but those aren't the actual tomb. So like, I'm just talking that tomb.
You're just talking Cleopatra. Okay.
Yeah, that's all I care about. Where's she at?
Under the ocean? Under a temple?
Under the sea.
We don't know.
Yeah. Send Sebastian. He might be able to find her.
In
Find
that,
a crab that speaks with a Jamaican accent. And
I want for the record to show I wasn't trying to do a Jamaican accent. I was just doing a voice.
no, I know you weren't, but you said under the ocean, under the temple, and then Amanda threw out a good joke. Nice job, Amanda.
Thank you. I finally have one this episode that isn't getting cut.
You've had a few this episode, but like,
You have one nuclear bomb.
yeah. You throw out some good jokes and then you send a fucking like flamethrower to torch everything. So
You're gonna get us canceled before we're even popular.
I didn't offend an entire religion.
so I just like to say I don't think there is a tomb.
Honestly, you're probably not wrong. But in my heart of hearts, I want to believe.
She
I
tricked
believe
everyone.
in Dr. Martinez.
I believe in Dr. Martinez. Don't get me wrong there. She's my hero.
Because she got out of law.
She got out. She escaped.
She's out.
And
She
she's
did it.
successful. So she escaped and successfully found a new career path. But
Does that give you hope?
yeah, every day when I hear about a lawyer that does that, oh, hope is renewed. I don't think she's so smart. She didn't even have herself buried in a tomb.
Where was she buried
is?
then?
Where was she buried? See,
Is
no.
Cleopatra buried with Walt Disney's head?
Oh, maybe she's down there in Orlando too.
Nah, she's more of a Boca person. Boca Raton.
What makes you say that?
She's got to get to Boca. No, I don't know. Before, I mean, this woman, Walt Disney World was not even created when this woman was alive.
America wasn't even.
Yeah, America wasn't even created.
Oh yeah, this Walt Disney not born yet. Shocking, I know.
If she is in Florida, my guess is Boca Raton. But I don't think she's in Florida.
Look, if there is a tomb, I think it is under the temple.
So
That'd
you
be my
buy the
guess.
temple theory?
Yeah, because there's only so many other. Like, I get it could be in the ocean with like some of the other tombs that are probably there that we'll
Mhm.
just never find, but that would have been a lot of tombs. That'd be like the whole dynasty is under the ocean, plus Alexander. That's a lot.
That's a lot of history lost.
That makes me sad. So I want to believe it's under the temple, and not in the Mediterranean Ocean part either. You know whose fault this is?
Rome's?
Well, her death, yeah, but like the loss of all this. Alexander the Great, what an idiot! What a dummy! Why do you have to build the capital city near the fucking ocean?
He liked the view.
Dummy.
You
He
need
also
to be
died.
next to water.
There was the Nile River. That's enough water. You can
Yeah,
drink. You can drink that water.
he was a weak ass bitch too. Died from a mosquito bite.
I mean, it was the malaria, I think.
It was. I just said that. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, that's not weak. How would you fare against malaria?
just fine because I think we have a cure for it, don't we? Don't we
Probably.
have a vaccine
think
for
so.
malaria?
Yeah, we do. We do have a vaccine for malaria.
Yeah, I think I'd be just fine. I think I'd be better with malaria than whatever the fuck I have right now.
I don't think that's true.
I don't know. I feel like shit, and I don't even remember half the shit that I've said today. Apparently, I've made jokes that are getting cut, and I don't remember what half of them are.
Well,
Keep that deniability.
yeah. Plausible deniability for yourself, Amanda.
Well, I guess.
We need to find one of us needs to find this tomb. I nominate Amanda. Let's send Amanda to Egypt.
I don't want to go. I don't want to
You know
go
what?
unless you can promise me Brendan Fraser is going to come along with me.
I can't promise that.
We can
Then I'm not
definitely
going.
try. But I can't wait for you to just stumble into the tomb.
Yeah, I think you would find it, Amanda, by accident. You'd like
Mhm.
fall in.
I'd probably just be looking for a bathroom.
Yeah.
That's how you find it.
I'm still going to pee in that tomb.
Well, I would
Don't
recommend
desecrate it.
I'd recommend not peeing in the tomb.
If I'm looking for a bathroom and I find a vase in that tomb,
There might be an
You-
organ in there, so be
You might want
careful.
to check it first.
I'm gonna pee in the vase.
Would you pee on an organ? Like someone's like dried up organs?
Not on purpose, but if I have to pee,
Check the vase first.
how about it's just an open vase, like with flowers or something. Normally the
Well-
Cupid jars have a
well,
head of something on it.
I don't think the flowers would have survived this long.
There's not just like nice vases.
Well, you said an
Yours-
open vase with flowers.
Yeah, well,
Just
you don't
check
have
the
to
vase.
put flowers in the vase, but there are vases, urns. I don't know, not urns. I'm not gonna.
How
pee.
about this, Amanda?
What
Check
about a
it
nice?
to make sure there's not a snake or a scorpion in it.
I'm still gonna pee on it.
What about a nice vase?
I'll take a vase.
Would you?
Once again, we've lost the plot.
This is not the first time this episode.
No, we went on a lot of weird tangents today.
I
Okay.
wanna. I wanna find this too.
With Brendan Fraser.
No, I wanna find it.
What?
I'm sending Amanda out to look for it.
I'm not going without Brendan Fraser.
We're gonna
He's-
send Brendan Fraser out to find it.
He's busy.
So
Yeah. You want me to go?
Go.
You want me to go? That's my condition of going.
I do want you to go.
Well, then you better find a way to get Brendan Fraser.
would you accept The Rock also coming in lieu of Brendan Fraser?
In lieu of him? Absolutely not. It's Brendan Fraser or no dice.
Would you accept Kelsey Grammer, who played Frasier?
Absolutely not.
What if
Mhm.
you're destined to find Cleopatra's tomb and you're just refusing to go because Brandon Fraser can't come?
Well, then we know that I'm apparently not destined to find it. Mom, is that I feel like that's sufficient. Brendan Fraser needs to come with me to get this tomb. Correct?
Sure.
What if you were guaranteed to find it, but he just wouldn't come with you?
No.
That's disgusting. You
Like,
Your name would go down in history.
people would remember you forever.
I don't want to be remembered.
You'd leave a legacy.
I'm a horrible person.
They'd remember you as a great person.
I don't think I'm a horrible person. I think I'm a person, but
They'd
uh,
remember you as the hero who found Cleopatra's tomb
with Brendan Fraser.
alone.
No.
It doesn't have to be alone. Could go with you.
Nope.
Yeah, she's not going. She doesn't like sand.
Hannah, where do you think the tomb is?
I want to believe in Dr. Martinez, and I want to believe that she has found the right area with Tapasiris Magna. And I hope that is true because I want to be able to say I was alive and remember when Cleopatra's tomb was found.
Wasn't this on your bingo card?
Yes. Why do you think we're discussing it tonight?
Yeah, Frankie.
All right, calm down. I don't know I'm being attacked.
Because apparently I got attacked for not going to this hypothetical tomb.
Well, it is hypothetical. I don't believe in it completely yet. But I didn't attack you. I just thought it was weird that you wouldn't go.
You called it disgusting. That's an attack.
It is disgusting.
Amanda, where do you believe the tomb to be?
I don't think there's a tomb. Not anymore.
You think she's truly lost to time?
I think either this is the place, she's either in this place somewhere in the ocean of some sort, or we're never gonna fucking find her.
That's so sad.
Why do we need to find her?
Yeah, leave her alone.
I think it's better that she's lost to time.
Yeah, leave her
Any
alone.
reality would take away from her legend.
We've lost so many tombs of great figures in history, though.
Why do we need dead people's bodies? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
To
Well, no,
study
we
them.
would leave her body in her tomb.
Well, we've never done that before, so I don't know why you think we do that now.
We have never
King
left
Tut is in his
before.
tomb.
He wasn't there forever. They took him out.
Yeah.
I know. But a lot of mummies nowadays are left in their burial locations out of respect.
After they do some lab work on them.
I
Like,
think
take
the
a hair
lab work.
sample.
I think the lab work is fine. You know how many people from that time period are just missing? Cleopatra.
It's supposed to be dead bodies are supposed to be dead and decay and go away.
But we know
We
where they're
can-
buried. We literally
We can remember their names.
we leave
way.
markers. We leave markers carved with their names where they're buried.
I think everybody should just fucking be cremated.
We're running out of space. We're gonna have to, or we'll have to double up. Like we'll have to make graves like the Japanese pod hotels. But we've lost Cleopatra. We've lost Attila the Hun. We've lost Genghis Khan. We've lost Alexander the Great. Finding these tombs could tell us so much about history.
Maybe it's a good thing we don't know.
I think we should know. The knowledge is out there. Drain the ocean.
Suck the ocean up in a vacuum.
It's just the Mediterranean Sea.
You
I
might
think
want
you
to.
killed Amanda with that.
No, my sickness is killing me.
So, Hannah, thank you for teaching us about Cleopatra's tomb.
You're welcome. I hoped maybe you learned something and you have hope that we could find her. Or maybe you agree with Monique and just say, let her rest.
I don't think anyone should rest. I don't get to rest, so no one else does either. There's been a problem where I don't get to rest, and now that's everyone's problem.
Okay.
You're so mean.
Yeah, I know. Hannah, before we wrap up, I do say what percentage chance right now? What's the percentage chance we find the tomb? Not just this year, but in our lifetime.
In our lifetime, I don't know, like 1%.
Nice. I'm glad you have faith.
That is from an English major. It's
Not
probably like
non.
0.0001%, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, but let's go
We'll
with
round up to
1%.
1.
Yeah.
We'll round up to 1.
That makes me feel better with the 1.
Mm-hmm.
So with all of that being said, we're gonna take care of business and wrap up the episode. Before we do, Amanda,
Uh-huh.
you're in charge next week.
I am.
What are we doing?
Well, I think it's time we get back on the Disney kick. Oh, man. Is that my voice?
It
Ooh,
is.
That's rough.
You made it so close to the end.
I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, Amanda's been replaced by a New Jersey chain smoker. So what are we?
If I'm correct, the next movie in our Disney, my Disney, series, sure, is The Reluctant Dragon.
The Reluctant Dragon, a movie I've never even heard of.
I
Yeah.
thought it was Fantasia.
Oh, it might be. Hold on. I don't know. It's one of the two.
We'll find out next week.
We'll find out. Now you have to listen.
Yeah, or at least look at the episode title.
Yeah.
With that being said, let's wrap up. If you whatever podcast service you're listening to us on, please follow us or subscribe and leave a review for us. If you would like to ask us a question, give us a comment, a concern, suggest an episode topic that you would like to see, but especially ask us a question. I know I already said that, but we'd like to answer some listener questions. You can send us an email, and Hannah, that email is?
That email is nothingtoseeherepodcast@gmail.com. As always, here is spelled HEAR.
If you'd like to see some fun artwork done by Amanda when she's not dying,
And
and fun memes that are created by Hannah, you can see that over on our Instagram page at
Nothing to See Here Pod. If you come on Friday, we'll be playing trivia.
Yeah, the trivia is fun. I play the trivia and I get questions wrong. So
there's
and
trivia?
I edit on the Instagram story. Yeah, I get the questions wrong sometimes and I edit the episodes. So that's fun.
Interesting. Real quick, I have a quick little shout out. Catherine, my peep. I love you.
Oh yeah, if Catherine's listened this far in, we'll find out.
Yeah, I love you, Catherine.
And is there any more business to take care of? Oh yeah, recommend us to your friends and your family and your enemies and your pets and children. Well, maybe not children. Children shouldn't listen to this.
And if you have a Catherine,
If you have a Catherine, let them listen to it.
yeah, let your Catherines listen to this.
Find your Catherine and say, hey, listen to this show. Catherines love it.
If you don't have a Catherine, go find a Catherine.
Everyone should have a Catherine.
Everybody should have a Catherine.
And I think that's all the business to take care of. So join us next week where Amanda will give us a review of either The Reluctant Dragon or Fantasia, whichever one came first.
I can't remember.
We'll have to consult the head. And
The head.
yeah, the head will help us out with that. He'll know.
Do you have direct contact with the head of Walt Disney?
We'll shoot him an email.
He can look at emails?
He has eyes.
He doesn't have hands to click on them.
Voice to
He controls everything with his brain.
speech to text,
Ah, okay.
like Siri or Cortana if you have a Windows device. With that being said, this has been another episode of Nothing to See Here podcast, a history episode where we learned about Cleopatra's tomb. Yay! Woo! Saying goodbye, it's Frankie.
It was a long ride, but it's Hannah.
This is Amanda saying, "Don't smoke, kids."
That's a good advice. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.